What's up guys, it's Olin here from TechOnEarth. The next version of iOS has finally arrived and will probably be called as iOS 11. And it's jam-packed with tons of new features. Though Apple detailed a few highlights of iOS 11, there's much more than we didn't hear about. Though the official public beta of iOS won't be available for a few weeks, developers have already got their hands on the update. So we're starting to hear about some big changes Apple hasn't announced yet. So in this video, let's have a look at the new features that are likely to be introduced in iOS 11. So before further ado, let's get started. So the first feature is the Customizable Control Center. Finally, you can now rearrange and customize exactly what shortcuts appear in your control center. The swipe up control that you can access via the bottom of the screen. Users can select what's displayed in the control center by using the Settings app. And there are a huge range of options including low power mode, notes, text size, wallet, screen recording, etc. There's even a new option to add Apple TV remote controls to the control center. But the only thing is that the layout cannot be changed. Alright, so the next is a personalized storage suggestions. Tired of running out of space on your phone? iOS 11 will provide helpful suggestions on how you can reduce space hogging photos, iMessages threads, and attachments you no longer need. Storage settings will now provide specific recommendations on how to save space that you can act on right from the settings. The Storage and iCloud Usage tab is now just called as iPhone Storage, and it features at a glance view of storage space available on a device, along with recommendations for improving storage space like auto-deleting old conversations, clearing large message attachments, and storing messages in iCloud, a new feature that syncs messages across all of your devices. The next feature is the automatically delete unused apps. iOS 11 is making it easier to get rid of apps you don't use anymore. A new offload unused apps setting will automatically get rid of apps you don't use, while the documents and the data for the uninstalled apps will remain available in case the app is installed again in the future. So the next feature is screen recording. A new feature lets you record your screen right from the iOS control center. While this will be particularly useful for developers and gamers, it also means that you might want to think twice about what you're sharing on Snapchat, as this option will automatically capture a screen recording of what you're doing on an iPhone or an iPad. So the next feature is save your battery from your control center. Another one to file under control center improvements is that iOS 11 will allow you to enable the battery saving low power mode without having to open the settings app. So in short, you can control the low power mode from the control center itself. So the next feature is to rearrange multiple apps at once. So rather than completely overhauling the home screen in iOS 11, Apple settled for a few new tweaks that will make using your iPhone easier. One of the coolest new features makes the previously clunky process of organizing your home screen a lot less annoying. So rather than painstakingly dragging individual app icons across the pages of your home screen, iOS 11 lets you move multiple icons simultaneously. The next important feature is the one-handed keyboard. It's been years since Apple started making its phones bigger, but there's no getting around the simple fact that they are much more difficult to use one-handed for many of us with smaller hands, at least. Now, Apple is finally adding a fix with its new one-handed keyboard mode. The new one-handed keyboard empowers the users with the ability to move the keyboard either fully to the left or to the right of the screen with an arrow button, so that typing with a single thumb is easier. The next is a native QR code support. Apple has added native support for QR codes in the iOS 11 camera app. This means that users will be able to scan QR codes using the native camera app. They won't have to install any third-party apps for scanning QR codes. Alright, so the next feature is the dark mode. Night shift may no longer be the only way to help your tired eyes. Apple is adding a new way to invert colors on iOS 11, effectively creating a dark mode. It's not the first time Apple teased us with such a feature. We saw similar functionality pop in iOS 10's developers preview last year, but it never made it in the final release. So hoping that Apple adds this feature in the upcoming iOS 11 at least. So the next is the podcast app redesign. It's not just the App Store. Apple's podcast app have also been given a minimalistic makeover. Functionally, a few things have been moved around and some new features have been added. For example, the Unplayed, My Podcast, Featured, Top Charts and Search tabs are lined up alongside. The bottom of the interface have been replaced with a new and simpler tab layouts like Listen Now, Library, Browse and Search. The next feature is that the signal bars are back. This is small, but something that's been a source of annoyance to some. Apple is ditching the circles and bringing back the bars for showing the strength of your data connection. So, and the last but not the least is the unified Siri and search settings. In the Settings app, there is now a single tab for Siri and search, which is a more logical layout. There are also options for toggling on Siri suggestions for each individual app that's downloaded on a device. So guys, those are amongst the new features that are likely to be introduced in the upcoming iOS 11. I hope you all liked the video. If you all did, then kindly hit the thumbs up button. I shall really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to turn on the notifications so as to get notified when I upload a brand new video. I hope you guys gonna stick with me for more interesting videos on this channel. So until next time, you guys take care. Ciao.